We made it. I made it. You made it. It's a beautiful morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning all over the world, wherever you're joining us or watching us from. This is Galaxy Television, and the program is Family and Values. So how are you? I hope you had a restful night. Okay, now, when I said you made it because it's another brand new day. You made it because yesterday may not have worked well for you. Okay, last week Tuesday may not have worked well for you. This is another opportunity for you, and it simply means that, as you know, as the Lord is so beautiful, He has created that opportunity for you to either do this or that, and He will bless whatever it is that you have set your heart to do. So you made it. Don't forget, making it means that you have another opportunity to look out and seek and reach out and claim and get and possess and have dominion and live flourishing all over and around you. It's a beautiful morning. My name is Adejoke Adubi David, and it's Tuesday, the 26th in the month of March. Hey, Easter is creeping in gradually. And our brothers and sisters in Islam, Ramadan Kareem to all of you, and we pray that God will continue to strengthen you and take you through this journey, and all your answers receive ibadah from the Almighty Allah. So I'm not here alone as we rock this boat. Join us on all our social media platforms. The number to send those messages to, we really desire to hear feedback, reports, information, questions from you. Just see it on our screen and we're good to go. So Joy Girl, how was your journey down to okay, I wanted to say down to Lagos, but your boy is still part of Lagos. So how was your journey down here this morning?
I'm fine. I'm good. And you know, sometimes in life you don't plan certain things. I decided to use the beret this morning, and I saw Lori walking into the studio using the beret. I was like,
can you imagine?
What happened? You know, that's what when they say soul sisters, you know, when two spirits agree and they work as one.
Thank God for life.
Welcome to Family and Values. Today I want to say, if you have the opportunity to see the brightness of today, leave every worries, leave every complaint, and tell your Creator, thank you. Thank you, because a lot of people have lost their lives. Those that we thought, oh yes, we are creating memories. Now those memories will just become reality, because you definitely not see them. Yesterday, immediately after the show, I lost a dear friend of mine, and it was supposed to be good news because we're actually expectant of a baby, but unfortunately herself and the baby couldn't make it, and I'm sending my condolences to her family. Wendy, even in spirit, we love you, we are with you, and the Lord will give your family the grace to bear this heavy grief.
Amen.
And on the other side, today is the 26th of March. Exactly 19 years ago, I lost my mom. On a day like this, 2005, I lost the woman that brought me into life. Well, so you see, when I say it's an opportunity to tell the Lord thank you, because for every time you wake up, you're just 6 feet away from the ground.
That's
so you should tell the Lord thank you. Thank you. Welcome to Family and Values. Welcome to another exciting day, because it promises to be interesting, educative, and very informative. My name still remains Joy Abu, and you know we are streaming across all our social media platforms. Join myself and Olori as we take you on the ride for today. Welcome.
Okay, so welcome. You know, losing someone could be something very difficult, and it's not everyone that find it easy to just shake it off the body immediately. You know, it takes a while, and in the course of that process, as much as possible, one needs to just continue to give thanks that, okay, thank God, thank God, because like the other brethren from the other religion will say, God gives and God takes. And He has given them to us, and He has the best way. You know, when you were saying, I said, what about the baby? He said they are trying to revive, and after you said, they said the baby is gone, I said, to God be the glory, everything. Let's just give thanks. We have many children, like the topic we'll be discussing today. You know, we have many children who are so privileged. Okay, the mother is gone, like Yoruba will say, Agbe Lofo. You know, it's the baby is okay. The mother is alive, but the baby is gone. There can always be
another opportunity. Yeah.
And some will say, it's the baby that left. It is the mother and the baby, and you can only give God thanks, because we have many children who never had their parents here, and after the mother passed on, the baby still remained, and to the glory of God, some of them have become great memory in the name of that woman that could not train them. Whereas some cannot, you know, appreciate it and say, when my mother passed on, if you know the kind of suffering, the trouble I went through, it wasn't easy. Nobody to look out for me. Nobody had time for me. They all, in short, my uncle said all of them promised. Even my uncle, it was just by the grace of God that he sent me to school. Nobody, not from my father's side, not from my, you know.
We hear that the whole lot.
And yeah, that was why I said, thank God, because no one can take care of your own child like a mother.
Of course. That
really birth. Yeah, of course, sometimes some mothers they are not good mothers, but irrespective, let's just give God thanks that Yoruba will say, Goya. She is not mad. She did not go missing. Now we see her body parts on the road. She was not, you know, you start looking at this and that. Let's still come back and say, Lord, we thank you. And God continue to rest your mom. Amen. 26 years is not a joke. And I pray God will continue to be the strength of all you, our children, and rest us so completely until we see on the resurrection morning. Okay, so it's time for us to do business as usual on Family and Values, and today's topic, I don't want you to miss it for anything. Please, by the grace of God, check our social media platforms like we have told you. Send us messages even after you have watched it, maybe later in the evening or during your break time. It's very important for you, for your children, for our family to continue to grow, and for those times we never had with them, let's create that time. On that note, we'll have to go for a mini feature as we start today's program. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. It's still Family and Values. Okay, welcome back. If you're just tuning in, you have not missed anything. We're just going into today's business. Like I always call it, Tuesday with a difference. Tuesday with a difference. Okay, like you heard from a MB or boss, have we really departed from the values? Have we left it unattended to? Growing up, how was it when you were growing up? Were your parents ever there? Were they ever creating that time for you, you know, to be the parent you wanted them to be? Now, bring it down to the 21st century. Now, this present day, how well do we create time to spend with our children? Okay. Our guest is right here and is joining us live from Ibadan. He's on Zoom, and we have the like of Remi Lawal. We call him Remi Lawal. He's an author. He's a parent, you know, coach, and he's also good at when it comes to putting family life coach all together. So he's a therapist as well. Remi, good morning. Are you there?
Yes, I am here. Good morning.
Hello, Remi.
Good morning, Lolo.
The Igbo man
in our midst. I'm here.
Morning. The man from Ibadan. And his white, oh, you know the kind Niger white. Joy.
Good morning. Good morning.
I hear you. And thank you for setting me up.
Come again? I didn't hear that.
I said thank you for setting me up.
It's so good to have you. So our topic today is creating, the importance of creating and spending time with our children. Importance of creating and spending time with our children. I know on your platform you talk so much about children, and sometimes we parents will feel like this man has finished us. It's like I have not been able to do this. And you know, I wonder, what are the importance of, you know, creating time with our kids, with our children? What are the importance? Are they important?
They are very important. But before I dive into that, let me correct an impression if I'm very audible. In our own time, our parents were as busy as the present day parents. What we had then was we had communal parenting, where my parents were not the only ones parenting me. So I had people whose oversight responsibility over me as a child were much, and people lived up to their responsibilities. So that's the only thing that is missing in this current day. So not that we have more busy parents than we had in our own time when our fathers were raising us. However, we are no longer as intentional as our own parents were. In our own time, just like the revered Dr. Kolade said, I look more to our pockets than to values. Now, permit me to just read out a few things that I know that spending time with our children will help us achieve. And it is not just for the child, it's equally for us as parents. I had a class on where somebody was asking me, how do you inculcate values in children? You cannot do it without spending time. And like I told the person, it's sad that the two names that easily comes to mind, just recently I added one to it. These are people who did not only influence their children, they've influenced generations. These are part of the benefits of spending time with your children. You would wonder how Fela Anikulapo Kuti of blessed memory, whose father was a reverend, didn't end up in church. But he succeeded in influencing his own children. Today we have the third generation of musicians from the same lineage. I need you to think about it. Probably the father was busy globetrotting, preaching to people, helping to win souls to the kingdom, but couldn't win his own children to his values. Now look at it. Another man again you will talk about. He's not somebody a lot of people would want to talk about, okay, Christians per se. It's Bob Marley. He did not only influence his family, he influenced a nation. Jamaica is not a reggae playing nation. It was Bob Marley who brought reggae to Jamaica. So today, Jamaica is known as the reggae nation, just by the influence of one man. Spending time with people, especially with your children, you build strong bonds. Let's bear these things in mind. For children, love is not spelled L-O-V-E. Love is spelled T-I-M-E. So when you spend time with your children, you're building strong bonds. Your mental health and theirs too, just like it was captured in the video you played at the beginning, your mental health and that of your children will be stable. Your children will have no business bullying other children or putting up dangerous or destructive behavioral patterns in the society. You build traditions, just like Adelove of blessed memory did with his family. I don't know if there is any child of that man that is not into acts today. They are all either singing or acting. He took time to infuse that in all of his children, both male and female. We could say the same of Aki Ogungbe. These are not children who are doing it because of money. They are doing it because tradition was built. When you create family time, that is when you influence behavior. I listened into the last topic when we're talking about raising single parents, raising teenagers. Every behavior we see with them is not actually what they want to do. It's rebellious. It's them rebelling against what they do not understand. I have worked with them for years and I know their thinking pattern. When they feel rejection, they want to rebel against that rejection, and the only way to fight against it is either they pick sex, they pick drug, destructive habit, or self-harming. Those are the things we see, and then we label them as either stubborn or wayward. No child was created or born wayward. They picked it along the line, and all of these things happen because parents don't spend time with their children. Now, let me also play into the hands of our busy parents. In all honesty, I salute you for being busy. I salute your quest to earn money to raise your family, because what is a family without money? You go out there to search for money, the world throws all manner of shit at you, then you come back. The only place where you should find regulation, you equally throw the same thing back at them. Because you have been dysregulated,
Let me ask this question.
you come home.
Hello. Let me ask this question. Yes, we know that parents are losing it when it comes to creating that bond with their children. Now, can you be specific with the effects? What are the effects of not spending time with children? So you could start with the negative effect of not spending time, so that they will know. Let's not just be telling them, okay, spend time. This is, if you don't spend this quality time with your children, it will resolve to this. You've mentioned families that parents were there for their children. Like I would always say, we are benefiting today. We have morals because we had parents who didn't place so much emphasis on wealth, but still had time to go to spend time with kids, with us when we're growing. So what are those effects when you tell parents spend time with your children? If you do not, this is what you have. I know you were beginning to mention a bit of them. That was why I had to chip in my question so that you broaden that a bit.
Thank you very much. I am okay. Like you mentioned, I have mentioned some of them, but let me enumerate them right now. If you do not spend time with your children, it will be difficult for you to infuse your family values and culture into those children. So these children are going to struggle to look for values outside. And when they begin to display these behavioral patterns, you will be left confused, wondering, where did you get this from? So to infuse your cultural values and your traditions as a family in your children, you need to spend time with them, because children see you more than they hear you. You can back out instructions for as much as you want, for as long as you like. Your child will see you more than your child will hear you. And when you don't spend time with your children become the person they spend time with, even if the person were to be a criminal. So your child will not see anything wrong with crime if the criminal is the person who shows him attention, affection, and acceptance. When you create time with your children, it creates these three things in them: that they are loved. And the love is that you give them attention, you show them affection, and you accept them in whatever way they are as they walk towards becoming who you want them to be. So those are some of the things. Now, if you don't create time with them, they go out to meet friends, and those friends will lure them into self-destructive habits like drugs, sex, illicit sex, like truancy, and the other dominant one that we have amongst children is loss of attention. So their academic performance will begin to drop, and you will shout, and you don't treat any tree from the leaf. You go to the root. So most of our approaches, or let me say most of our interventions, are just like us trying to treat the disease from the leaf. You must go to the root. You didn't spend time with them to make them understand that, look, being self-regulated would have to happen by my own actions, not by the child's action. If I want my child to be self-regulated, I am their first love. So I should be there to show them that they are constantly loved no matter what they do. So those are the dangers of not spending time with your children. The person they spend time with would definitely lead them on to do the things you don't like.
Remy, we need to go for this short break. We need to go for a short break to take our word on marble, and we'll be right back, so don't go anywhere, stay tuned. We've been talking with Remy Lawal, who is a therapist, a life and family coach, and also an author. He's good in children's parenting, and he's joining us live from Ibadan. Myself and Joe have been asking ourselves many questions regarding this and what, mothers, fathers need to learn and gain. Now, I want to find out. Someone actually sent me a message, but I'll think to hold it on for a while. But what I want to ask now, what does this quality time do? You said, okay, it's not just going to be love, it's going to be time, which is time. It is the time that will actually show that you have them at heart and you love them. Remy, are you still there?
Oh yes, I am.
Okay,
here.
so what does this quality time really do? Which is more important, spending time with them or providing for them? Because the question I'm going to ask you that was sent to me was, I do so much, I hardly stay at home. How do I now create this time? Do I need to quit my job to create time with them? We need you to put two things into work now. What does this quality time do to the children and to the father and to the mother? And also,
All right.
for someone who is so busy, how should he or him or her marry this in giving quality time or creating it for the child?
Fantastic. I'm going to speak a bit slowly now. What spending time does for children is that it keeps them permanently regulated. So they don't have need for outside influence. Whenever there is need to make informed decision, the first people that comes to mind will be their parents, because they are the only ones that have their ears. So that is one of the things that spending quality time with your children does for them. Secondly, it will be difficult for anyone to break your walls around your children when you are not there. Like I said, when there is need to make an informed decision, what you will do will become their default approach. Not like them subjecting their decisions to public opinion, because as at that time, your opinion has not failed. So not only do they love you, they have your ears all the time. So spending quality time with your children does not put them on edge. So they are not always snapping at everybody, including their teachers. And their attention span is expanded as they grow. But if they are not at ease because their parents are not there, they can't understand why their parents are not there, their attention span, it gets shortened. Lastly, values give us wings to fly. When a child does not have value, the child will find it difficult to fly, especially when the child does not understand them. Parents are meant to do 3 things in one for every child. No child should have a parent and be looking for a mentor, a teacher, and a parent. Today, because of our absenteeism, we only have our children have us only as parents, but they go in search of mentors and teachers. So if you are there spending time with them, you are their parents, their teacher, and also their mentors. That is if you're living a good life yourself. Now, for those who are looking for work-life balance, it is not something we can trash out in just few minutes. It's a process. So when we say quality time, I'm going to use sleep to describe this. A lot of people think that quality sleep is in the length of it. No, quality sleep can happen in 10 minutes. That you sleep what we call the sleep of mind. You rest your mind from every worries. And in 10 minutes, you wake up looking so refreshed like a baby. So quality time does not mean you resign your work. but be intentional about it. Your children know you have to be busy. You have to do what you have to do. When you come back in the middle of being busy, you sit down to ask them, how was school? What was it like for you? Hope you're good. Is there anything you want to say to me? It may not be more than 10 minutes. It may not be more than 15 minutes. I mean, they know that you're putting your heart to it. And then also you have one family day in a week that all of you sit down, you put out your gadgets, put away your gadgets, and sit down to say, today it is you talking. Do you know you can have a cinema time in your house? As you're coming, you buy popcorn, and then you turn on your Netflix and tell everybody to put away their gadget, that it is movie time. And you all watch movie, and then sit down to talk about your high points of the movie. You laugh about it, pick out your own favorite character, what you didn't like about the character. As they are talking, you're learning from them, you're getting to know them better, they are knowing you as well. And after that 2 hours, all of you will return to your gadgets on your schedules. That is how to spend quality time, even though you're a busy parent. We will not ask you to resign your work. Things are getting expensive, and at no time will they get cheaper. Let's bear that in mind. Across the world, things are being subsidized. So let us not make it look like a peculiar thing in Nigeria. The only peculiar thing is that we lack control. So things are never going to get cheaper. People will have to keep working double to earn a living. So we're not going to ask you to resign your job, but be more intentional. That's all we ask for. And when your children see this intentionality, they interpret it to mean that you love them. And they also will go out of their way to make sacrifices to help you bridge the gap. So you may not necessarily need to employ house helps, because your children know you're busy. They will fill the gaps. You have infused in them the value of hard work, the value of responsibility and diligence, and equally resilience. So they will play all of these things out, and you will be wondering, where did they learn it from? Their teacher.
I want to throw this question at you. Now, you know, I wanted to ask you, I said, what's the difference between spending quality time and just spending time with kids? But in the course of the conversation, you did talk about it. But I want to bring it from this angle. You know, sometimes you live in, you said something about you could have cinema times at home. But I would ask you a question that a pre-teenager or pre-adolescent asked, and she was talking randomly, and she said, parents are not truthful to children. Yes, and I said, why did you say that? She said, because myself and my classmate were having a conversation that parents will tell you, don't charge your phone while you're making use of it. But you I also see my parents doing the same thing. He said, my parents will tell you, oh, it's time for you to go to bed, don't talk with friends. But I'll see my parents staying late to talk over the phone with their friends. That's what tell me. And she was like, how do we now obey parents when parents are not being truthful to us? And that thing caught my attention. I said, I was going to ask you this now. How do we make these children trust us enough that even when we are spending the quality time, even if it's 10-15 minutes, they are truthful to us, they open up to us? Because it's okay to tell the child, let's talk, and the child will just tell you what he wants to tell you. Oh, how was school? Fine, nothing else. Meanwhile, a lot has happened that the child is supposed to speak out. Like you said, they leave you and go and talk outside because they find confidence in that. So when children are already feeling like parents themselves are not truthful to their children, how do we get to that point of getting sincerity from them in spending quality time, so that you know that I've spent 15 minutes with my mom, with my dad, but I've learned a whole lot. I didn't grow up spending the whole hours with my dad or with my mom, but you see, between the hours of 4 a.m. to 5 during morning devotion was when we had most of the lessons. Our morning devotion was just an hour, and then if you misbehave later, you know that they'll call you aside to talk to you 4 a.m. So and then anytime my father had the slightest opportunity, even if we are eating, my father would bring out a lesson out of it. So I can't say he spent a whole day, but that thing has kept me going. So how do we gain the trust of those children now?
Thank you very much. While I was talking, I mentioned two things. I said intentionality and honesty. That means you are doing good yourself. So a lot of parents, I can tell you that because when they come to me, I observe it, that they are the do as I say parents, not the do as I do. And do not forget that when I started, I said something instructive, that children hear you, they see you more than they hear you. So you can back out instructions like anything you want. Probably you could even use horn speakers to back out your instructions. Your instructions don't make any meaning to them. It is what you are doing that they are seeing. So I cannot ask my children. Now, this is what I do. Because my children would have to go to bed before 10, and I have to sit back to listen to news. My children have always known that I am a news person. So I will take him to bed, stay with him, and tell him, I need to go see the news. He said, I know. So it is now a tradition. When I stay back, he knows I am staying back for news. And once it is 11 o'clock, the news is over, I am back on the bed. So even if he's awake, he sees me walking back there. So you must be honest in what you're doing. Be intentional. I said that and I'm repeating it again. Be intentional with the things you're doing. I was telling them in one of the classes, when my son was a year, like 3 months, he went and took his mom's glass, carried a book, came to sit with me. And I'm like, what are you doing? I'm doing what my daddy is doing. That's what he had seen over time. He sees me seated there with my glasses on, reading a book. So that has entered him till today. He took on writing. He's a fantastic writer. So if you buy 1,000 jotters today and you put it in the house, my son will exhaust it in 3 weeks. So it is what you're doing honestly that your children are seeing. Those are the things they will do. If you have a child who is outspoken, once you say, don't do this, he will tell you straight, but you're doing it. And I don't know what else to call shameful act, if not that. So this is not within the control of the children, but do know one thing, like I said, your children should not have you and then go through the labor of looking for teachers and mentors. You are meant to be all of the three for them. That's why the Bible says, I trust Abraham. He will command his children in the ways of the Lord. So you are expected to be the strongest influence on your children by your own personal conducts, not by the things you say. The coming generation are going to have it because it's not a generation that will listen to you without proofs. You're not going to tell the alpha generation to sit down. Tell that generation why he should sit down. So parents have their works cut out for them already. And it's already beginning with this Gen Zs. So we all must sit up. Be honest in your parenting. You can tell your children things honestly without divulging all the information. If there are things you don't want them to know. Like when I talk about discussing sex with your children, you don't have to biologically descriptive, but you can discuss sex with them to the point that you will understand it. There are age-appropriate languages. There are age-appropriate synonyms. There are age-appropriate approaches. So you need to learn them as you grow, as they grow rather, and then use those approaches. But honesty is key. Being intentional is key. And then being the one who is true to himself or herself is key. Don't be going north and be telling your children you're going south. Please permit me to end it with this. It all begins with you pick a call and you are in your living room and you're telling the person, I'm very close to you, I'm on the way. I don't know what you're teaching your children. Tell people where you are. They are not going to kill you. Worst case is to call it off. And when they call it off, it means that it wasn't yours in the first place. Be honest when you're taking calls in the presence of your children. When you have visitors at home, please drop what you call white lies. Lie is lie. I don't know how we want to color it. So those are some of the things we do. Let your yes be yes and your no, let it be no. I would rather you keep quiet. Even the Bible says it, that the foolish is wise when he shuts his mouth. So rather than say things that will jeopardize the life and destinies of your children and make them pick up habits that even you would regret in the future, why don't you just keep quiet or mind what you do? And let me say this. You may say they are not seeing you. Habits are emotions, just like the behavior between us and dog. If you exhibit courage, a dog will sense it and run away from you. If you exhibit fear, a dog will notice it and then come after you. So, if you think your children are not seeing it, you'll be so shocked the day they will exhibit it in public. So, honesty is important for us as parents in parenting our children. Don't be
Thank you so very much. It's so good to have you this morning. We appreciate the time and all the wealth of knowledge that you have released to us this morning. I want to believe those who are watching have been able to grasp one or two, in short, more than 10 things. Okay? From the white lies or the colored lie, give it all manner of map, colors that you want to call it. Every family has got one lie or the other to put together, and not standing by a word. What I pick most especially is the fact that you said love to children or for children is not the LOVE, is the TIME. It is time we spend with them that really makes them have this bonding. They believe that we have ears for them and they don't need to trust anybody outside the family to discuss certain things they actually need to discuss with you. I want to say a big thank you for always yielding and finding time to be part of the program. Thank you so much. We've been talking with Remi Lawal. He's an author, he's a life and parents coach, and also a therapist. So it's so good to have you. Have a beautiful and a wonderful day ahead of you. Thank you so much, Remi. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Okay, Joy, I should round up. What do you have to say? When that child was telling you,
I'm
sure to take your heart too. I say, hey.
We had a conversation in school. And then she brought up that her classmate was actually saying that.
And she now remembered my mom to do it.
She too now, they had that conversation. So she just,
I do it too.
She walked up to me this morning and I was at about 5 and she said, Mom, there's something I want to talk to you about. I said, okay, fine. She said, why is it that you parents, And she came in and attacked him. So I just calm down and I started explaining to her. I said, you need quality time to sleep, you need this, you need, and I was able to clear that out. And then I told her, I said, so when you go back to school, tell your classmates that this is what happens, that sometimes there are some calls you can't just ignore. You must pick those calls. It might be past bedtime, but then you pick those calls. And that. So when we say you don't call at certain times, I said, besides, you don't have access to phone. So why would you be discussing with a friend? Whose friend are you calling? All your conversation should stop in school. You come back and you're playing with your iPad. When once it's time, So
it's time.
It's time. But it's important we spend quality time with our children. The era we are in this period is not a time to joke with your kids. Whether 1 year, 2 years, spend that quality time with them. Ask them questions when you come back from school. And they come back and you're back from work, talk to them. Few things like the guest has said, you don't need 2-3 hours. While you're working in the kitchen, while you're moving about doing chores, let them be having that conversation with you, and it will go a very long way.
And they can also learn.
Yes, and then they will learn. Thank you very much for being a part of today's conversation. My name still remains Joy Abu, and my social media handle is Joy Abu Official, Joy Abu Official, across all my social media platforms. You can always find this pretty lady there.
Okay, because time is really running against us. My name is Remino Loria Adejoke David. We hope to see you tomorrow for that question. Don't forget, we have another bumper topic to discuss tomorrow, and it's going to infuse itself into tomorrow's discussion. So please don't miss it for anything. And if you've missed today's episode, you can always catch up on our Twitter and our Facebook page, and you will definitely meet up all that you have missed. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to all our crews. Thank you for everyone who have find time to join us this morning. And to our president, thank you for always having ears to time. That man get time for us. Thank you, sir. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now.